Hell yeah. Good morning.
We're here.
Michael, are you literally are you outside in the dark? What's happening?
No, the light, I got to work on the lighting in this room, you know? The first day I had the sun shining in because I have a window right here, and the sun was like hit me in the face. It was all weird. And then I blocked the sun, and now it's, 7 a.m. because some genius was like, "Hey guys, let's do it at 7 a.m."
Which of
on
these
on a Saturday.
Yeah, it was. That's how committed
Guilty.
we are.
We are.
Yeah, we got a lot of complaints about your lighting, so I'm glad that you're
I'm aware.
At least. Well, this is the BCM podcast. We got Charles on the top left, Michael on the top right, and of course me, Brad, here at the Star Trek Geordie LaForge convention at Austin City Hall, down at the bottom. How is everyone doing on this Saturday morning at 7:15?
I'm doing great. I just got back in from the gym. I was watching Good Morning America a little bit.
Dang.
The gym? What time did you go to the gym this morning? Is it an apartment gym?
No, it's the gym in my. Oh, you said apartment. Yes, it's in my apartment. I think you said an appointment, but yes, it's my apartment gym. Yeah, it's there at 5.
Do you always work out at 5 o'clock on a Saturday?
Yeah. Yes, I did sleep.
Yeah, dude, motherfucker. What's up?
I try to do it in the morning because if I don't do it in the morning, I don't do it in the afternoon because everything just kind of gets in the way. So if I get up early, get it knocked out before people start calling and texting, and then you're good for the day.
Before these two assholes tell you to get on the show?
Yeah. I woke up like 45 minutes ago. So I flew in from DC last night, Brad. Guess who's on my flight?
From DC to Austin? Mm-hmm. Direct flight? Who was on your flight? I want to say it's like a Texas senator. But Ted Cruz?
Your favorite.
Huh?
Congressman. Your favorite congressman.
Gregorio
Casar.
He's coming in for the I-35 expansion rally. They're rallying.
Yeah, he was hanging out. Yeah, they're going to rethink it.
Oh.
They're rethinking it.
Did you say hi to him?
He was. No. So I told Charles this before, but I'll tell it again. He was with Congressman Doggett, and Chip Roy was on the plane too. They're all coming back for the weekend. But I was walking. I'm on Southwest, and there's a middle seat next to Greg Casar, and I'm like, I should take that. But I opted for a window seat in the back, further back, instead of sitting in the middle.
You guys know each other.
I know. I made a mistake, man. I'm not a perfect human.
I told him he should have just sat there and just go for it. It would have been a great conversation. What, 3.5 hours? A great time.
Michael, you don't have to tell me that you're not perfect. I am well aware.
It's true.
Well, that's cool. Did you say hi to Chip, or you didn't say hi to Gregory? So you said hi to Chip. All right, how's Chip doing?
I did.
You get his autograph?
No.
Oh my God.
No autographs.
You've probably.
I just said hey.
Okay.
Yeah, he gave me he doesn't know who I am, but he said hi back.
Well, at least he said hi back. That's so kind of him.
Yeah, I know.
He
gave me that look. He gave me that look like I've seen you before, but I don't know who the fuck you are.
Probably gets that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So Charles, you woke up at 5 and worked. You probably woke up before 5 and worked out. Michael, you rolled out of bed. Who knows what the hell you've done for the past 45 minutes? I woke up at 5. I didn't work out. I like to play some video games on a Saturday morning when it's quiet. I don't have to worry about anything.
What game?
What game?
Yeah.
Well, I have a PlayStation 5 because Xbox is for losers, and the PlayStation Plus has a monthly a year. You pay like $120 a year, like the premium service, and you can they'll do 3 free games a month or something like that. So there's Far Cry 6.
Wow. Wait. Okay. So I have not had a PlayStation or a console in general in a really long time. So they don't sell the discs anymore. You just download them from the internet.
I like this humble brag that you just sort of.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't do childish things like play video games.
They're fun. I would. It just hasn't come up.
I'm an adult and I have more important things to do. I would, but I'm an adult.
And also, the consoles are like $600 nowadays. So it's like I don't even. I'd rather go buy a new iPhone or something.
Yeah. I don't know how often you're buying new iPhones, but okay. Yeah. So yeah, no, but they still sell discs. You go to Target and buy a disc, but a lot of them are downloads.
Oh, interesting.
I
Wow.
know. So welcome to the BCM video game podcast. So yeah, it's 7:20 now. We've blown 5 minutes of our listeners' time, but they enjoyed it, I'm sure. And Michael, why don't you, Michael or Charles, either one of you, we can take turns on this. What are we doing here?
In terms of like the overall podcast or this segment?
Professionalism, the overall podcast.
I'll let Michael take it. He's good at explaining that.
Oh no.
Okay, so we have new listeners.
Yeah. We're going to talk about a national topic, something happening in the news that people are interested in. Then we're going to talk about a state topic. So national, we're talking about Elon Musk's plans for Twitter or X. And then the state topic, we're going to talk about the disaster of a special session that is ongoing right now. And for the local topic, we're going to have Brad Swail and Charles Blain duke it out about parking requirements. And I'm going to sit back and enjoy.
That's a great time.
I'll explain the background. So this is the Austin City Council. We have Allison Alter, medicine woman, there in the middle. And everyone else is dressed somewhat normally, I guess. Well, not somewhat. Everyone's dressed normally, except for her. And they're putting on some solar flare glasses, I guess, because they voted to get ready for the April 8th solar eclipse that Austin will be a prime location for. So that's what we're dealing with. They're going to buy a bunch of those, I guess.
They're doing big things.
Did you just have an eclipse?
It was a partial. This one's a full. It's going to be nighttime in the middle of the afternoon.
Okay, so I did actually hear about this when I was on my backpacking trip. I met some Australians who told me that there are these eclipse parties that travel around the world, and they follow these eclipses, and that if you go to them, it's like a big rave for the eclipse, and they like welcome it in and like.
That's different. That's different. Yeah. You're talking about Mitsubishis.
Is Allison Alter going to be at said rave?
She's ready.
I can see her pop. She drops ecstasy and goes to raves, right? No,
who the fuck knows, man? Probably her and Jeremy. Fucking wild. They probably play EDM like on a Friday night, just in their room, put on the strobe, watch each other move.
No idea who these people are.
Allison Alter is she's the one in the middle here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that cool outfit. The dumpy one. God, why did I say that? And I feel bad when I talk to her about that, because I want to like be able to interview them, have them on my show, but I know she's never going to be on my show ever. Like Ryan Alter, right here, he looks sharp. Right, the second one, right there. He looks sharp, looking good. He's been on the podcast a couple times. Can't knock him, but whatever. They don't like to talk to people like me, white people.
We'll change that.
Yeah.
All right. So, which one do y'all want to start with?
I say we just start with parking minimum, since we're already talking about Austin City Council. Might as well just transition.
Well, this is. I don't want the listeners to think that this is just happening in Austin. This is a national movement.
Yes.
One might say that it's a UN Agenda 2030 or a 15-minute city type thing that's happening in America, all across America. I know there was someone posted. God, who was it? Maybe it was Greg Anderson. He's a local guy. He's on the planning commission. Oh God, he's been on the show.
Yeah,
my show.
Yeah,
that's Austin City Councilman podcast, by the way. And there's people like he is real big on this. He posted a photo where there's people holding signs. Austin passed parking reform. Houston, you're next. Oakland, you're next. New York, you're next. Seattle, Corpus Christi. That's what Corpus Christi needs to revitalize its economy. It could be so much more if only they got rid of parking requirements.
All right, so why don't we level set? Because I do have a video that I can put up that kind of briefly explains it, and then we can kind of talk about it. How about that?
Is this from the DMV on how to park?
I love the battle over the framing here. It's great. On whose grounds are we going to have this debate?
This is from an Austin TV station, so it's probably just middle of the road, I would assume. So
what are you talking about? Austin TV station, middle of the road?
All right, so let's see what it says.
Let's see what it says.
Oh yeah, she's so hot.
From the city's land development code, that is. This applies to all new developments, including both residential and commercial ones. And officials are saying these parking spaces are just expensive to create and upkeep. The vote also called for promoting shared and off-site parking options with adjacent properties to support walkable mixed-use developments to lessen the need for parking. The City of Austin's Housing and Planning Department says the removal of parking minimums will help lower the costs of building housing and allow for lower market rent prices.
See, how can you argue against that?
Are you talking about Britt Marino? I can't argue with her. She can say whatever she wants, and I'm
great. Now you're in favor of parking minimum. I mean, in favor of abolishing parking minimums. Perfect.
I'll be respectful. She's beautiful. She is really attractive.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yes.
All right, calm down, you sleazebag. Gosh darn. Okay, so it's all bullshit. That's what it is. That's my opening statement. It's bullshit. It's not going to work. Go on, Charles.
Go on.
Well, I mean, no, you have to explain that.
Okay. So, all right. So parking minimums, sure, they could be changed. Maybe they're requiring too much. I don't see how that's a possibility. But I could get on board. Maybe they're requiring too much. Fine, but to eliminate it altogether. And I know, okay, they're not saying that you can't build them. They're saying that there's just no minimum. There was a development in downtown Austin. I'm trying to find the article, but I can't do it right now. But there was a development in downtown Austin that tried this. They said, we're going to do this. We're going to no parking. It's going to be all about mixed, people that work downtown, walk downtown. They don't want a car. They're fine. And it didn't work out really well. It wasn't too expensive. I think each unit was going for something like $1,500 a month. And they had to turn it over to the bank. Now, maybe it was mismanagement, or maybe it was just a bad idea. Maybe Austin, crazy idea. Maybe people like their cars and they like to be able to like park their car, even if they don't use it all the time. But the parking, right? They have the parking requirements for a reason, right? Can we explain why they have parking requirements?
I mean, I because it's government and they like to tell you what to do with your
fine.
But tell us what I don't know what they're, because from my perspective, it's very unscientific and it
maybe so.
And it just, limits what people can do with their own property. So no, I don't know the legitimate reason behind, or the reason that they claim that they have parking minimums. Okay,
well, let's say that the city of Austin, it built out the exact same way that it did. Very, it's big. Geographically, it's pretty big. We're not New York City or Manhattan or whatever. And people are buying all these cars and they're driving around, and they did this, people weren't building enough parking. But the developers, they don't have control. There's no property rights over the roads. How are you going to pay for the roads without taxes, Michael? And so, they don't have control over that. There's the city of Austin's not building parking spaces. It's all up to developers. Developers can't say, okay, well, we're going to build, we're going to say that the city of Austin is building all of these suburbs and everything like that. That's being built. City of Austin not building them. People are buying cars, but we're not going to build any parking spaces. The city of Austin is building these roads, the infrastructure for the cars. And so that's how people are getting to the businesses, right? So, they're not, and I've talked to developers I don't know if I finished that point, but I've talked to developers and they're like, look, if we don't have to build parking spaces, we're going to build like maybe a few, of course, because there's people with disabilities. So you have to do that, but we're going to build out as much space as possible that we can sell. Right. So it's going to reduce the amount of parking. And I don't think that's going to be great for someone like me who doesn't live anywhere near. I don't live in a walkable neighborhood. I mean, I can go for a walk and that's great, but I'm not going anywhere except for the pleasure of walking. I can't walk down 360 to get to HEB.
But that building, that building that you mentioned that they had to turn over to the bank, is that not the market working? I mean, did they not try something and then it was proven to be unsuccessful, and so therefore the market worked? And in the same instance, that when they do other developments, if they're not doing the calculations correctly, knowing the people they're trying to serve want to have cars or how many cars they want to have, then that's on them. I mean, it's incumbent on them to know their clientele, whether it's residential or commercial, and then build for that. So how do we know, like Austin, I don't know what it is in Austin in terms of like how many parking spaces you need for a bar. I think in Houston, it's 10 spaces for every 1,000 feet. You might have a small bar. We eliminated parking minimums downtown, East End, and Midtown, so it probably wouldn't apply there. But say you still have them in downtown and you're requiring a small bar downtown to have 10 spaces for every 1,000 feet. Nobody's really driving down. I mean, some people drive downtown, but it just seems unreasonable. You have an arbitrary number put forth by government, and so I don't think
it's arbitrary.
I think the concern, Charles, is it not downtown necessarily. All of that has its own problems, but if you don't require parking in neighborhoods, where are people going to park? They're going to park on the street, and then it's going to cause a public safety risk. And have you ever? Well, you don't live here, but been near Zilker Park when there's an event going on down there, like parking along the streets is just packed in. That's what the neighbors would say they're concerned with. If you don't require parking, you're going to have to park on the street, and it just creates chaos.
Right? But I think that's one argument for sure. But this is not about free market. There's none of these people, save for Mackenzie Kelly right there, care about the free market. They don't give a shit. They do not care. They are very explicit. Hey, we're doing this to improve mobility. Like, that's not improving mobility because there's no other way to get around in Austin except for to drive. Walkability. No one's walking or biking in Austin on a regular basis except for exercise, or you live downtown. Like, it happens. Okay, some listener or one of you two jabronis, you're gonna say, "Well, I walked the other day." Well, good for you. But most people don't. It's so that they can push more money into Capital Metro. It's so they can push more money into Project Connect, and they can, force Project Connect and these choo-choos to maybe work. And it's not going to. It's not going to work. And if I don't know how they're going to do this, but I wouldn't be surprised if a development came through and wanted permission to build something, and they said, we're going to build a huge parking garage. I don't think the city of Austin is going to be happy. I think they're going to do more to try to disincentivize that. It's not the free market.
Well, if they're doing more to disincentivize parking, then yeah, right. That's not the free market. I'm just saying for a developer who is building something and they know that they need parking to get their clients there because there is no parking in the area, whether it's a store, HEB, whatever it is, they're going to do, like, they're not just going to build an HEB and say no parking and go and do it on the street when they know that it's not a reality for their customers to make it to their property.
What happens when the city of Austin says that, we're building a train and that's what people are going to do? And these are the projections of people riding the train. And these are the projections of people riding our buses. And so you don't actually need to build the parking. And then the city of Austin does what the city of Austin does and totally fucks up. And all these developments that didn't build parking because they were lied to by the city, maybe not lied, maybe the city actually believes they're bullshit. I don't know. They don't build the parking because they think that, oh, well, I was just told by Kirk Watson that people ride Capital Metro like crazy. They love that thing. And it's only going to get better because of equity transit oriented developments. Come on, who needs parking spaces? This is not, I am fully, if everything was free market, I would be fine. All right. That makes sense. Let's do it. But the developers don't have control over anything else. They're being lied to by the city.
Yeah, but a developer is not going to make the decisions about their development based on something Kirk Watson said.
Why? They do that all the time, don't they?
No, they make concessions to get through the process. But if somebody's already zoned for single family, they're not coming to the city for additional entitlements. They're just going to build, and they're not going to build based on what Kirk Watson said. They're going to build based on what they can sell. And my guess is in residential areas, they're going to still include parking because people drive. And there was segue. There was an amendment added to the no parking requirements bill by Councilmember Paige Ellis, your Councilmember Brad Swail, that requires bike parking.
What a bitch.
So I mean, I can see Brad's point. There is a broader agenda here that this fits into. So if you look at it in this silo, you're like, yeah, it makes sense. Let the market decide. Developers are smart enough to know what the people that they're going to be selling to are going to want. Yes, there's incentive to try to build more, but they're also going to provide parking, because I wouldn't buy a house without parking spots, so they're going to build parking. But there also is the broader agenda, which Brad is very concerned about at the World Economic Forum, which is like, we're going to push you all into dense neighborhoods. You're all going to take the train and you're going to walk to work. But that's not reasonable in Austin. Like, unless you
Houston
live downtown, you ain't walking anywhere. You're not walking anywhere. You're driving.
Well, I'll take umbrage with your comment that they're going to build residential parking. I don't think that they're going to with this new home initiative, which I know Charles is a huge fan of. And they're going to change the minimum lot sizes. They're going to just fill those lots full of homes. There's not going to be room for parking. They're going to build as much as they can. And maybe there will be a couple parking spots, right? A small, whatever, but people, a husband and a wife with some kids, a kid, whatever, they probably have 2 cars, right? And so are they going to build on this tiny lot with 3 homes, 6 spots? Probably not.
No.
And is there going to be a bus stop? Capital Metro saying there's going to be bus stops. We're going bukus. We're going to build more bus stops. Well, no, you're not, because it's not working. Well, you probably will, and it's still
no. What they're going to do is build. If it's a 3 lot, or if it's a 3 unit, they're going to build 3 spaces and then say, if you have a second car, put it on the street. 3 unit. Yeah, if you have a second car, put it on the street. That's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and the city of Austin's not going to build wider streets. Are you fucking kidding me? They're going to make them more narrow with all these dumb plastic pylons all around the neighborhoods so that bikes cannot bike. Right? It's crazy town.
Well, okay. So for the smaller house thing, do you guys not have like those 3? I mean, you guys might not. I know Houston has a lot of them, like the 3 packs with the townhomes where you kind of go in and you have the shared driveway and you have like 8 parking spaces in there for these 3 townhomes. Like, do you guys not have those around Austin?
I'm sure we have 1 or 2.
It's not 8 parking spaces. 8's an exaggeration, but it's a lot of parking.
We have more.
Look at you parking minimum zealot, exaggerating how many parking spaces are being built.
Well, we have more duplexes that are like that than triplexes or 3 units. But here's the conundrum. There's not really a perfect solution here. So again, Thomas Sewell, there are no solutions. There are only trade-offs. So if the options are let the government dictate parking requirements or let the market, what do you do? Both, we understand that both are not a perfect solution. So which one do you choose? That's really the position you're in. Yeah.
Market with slight parameters that keep you from going too crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I love the free market. Thomas Sowell's great, super smart guy, admire him a lot, read his books. I'm on board with his philosophy, but the free market, it stops at the street. Right, with the infrastructure, there's no infrastructure free market here, and the city of Austin is going to fuck that up, and it's not going to be good. Thomas, yes, there are only trade-offs. Well, this is going to be a bad trade-off, I think.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I'll take y'all's silence as total agreement.
No, I mean, that's as long as you're recognizing you're making a trade-off, but.
Of course,
yeah.
Because
if you get in the business, if they get in the business of trying to like regulate it by like neighborhood, they're like, it would be messy. Some of Allison Alter's comments were like, well, we should do this here, but this here and this here. Like, that would just be a total mess.
Why wouldn't you let the neighborhoods decide?
I'm okay with that. I don't know about letting the neighborhoods decide. I think yes, letting the neighborhoods decide in conjunction with kind of the governing body. I would say you guys should just put this up for a citywide vote and just had it voted up or down.
No.
I
can't trust these cities.
It would lose. It would lose.
It would win. There would be parking. There would be less than no parking minimums. There would be like destroy parking spots.
Well, we have it neighborhood by neighborhood, but we only have 3 neighborhoods. Go ahead. Yeah, Michael, what was that? Let's hear it.
I don't know that it would. Yeah, it was an AOC moment. I don't know that it would lose. I don't know that they would pass that. I think it would lose. It depends on the election cycle, but the opposition is disaggregated, meaning where typical progressive policy, initiatives, they're a coalition. The cop one, for example, all the Democrats, all the progressives joined together to oppose 2 cops per 100,000. Under this scenario, you're going to have Democrats in neighborhoods who are like, I don't want parking all over my street, and that coalition breaks up. And I think they would actually have a hard time passing that.
See, Brad, get some signatures, put it on the ballot. You can get your wish.
No, no, thank you. I'll pass. Thank you though.
There's also the ability to do an ordinance repeal petition that you could do too to try to just repeal it since they.
All right, listen, you fucking nerds. I'm not going to do that.
I love it. We're trying. You could be the spokesman. We'd get you on all the TV, and you could tell everybody why we need parking requirements.
I've talked shit about 2 of the council members in this show alone in the past 30, 25, 26 minutes. I'll be a spokesperson, and I'll say worse things on the TV camera.
This is the mild version, I guess.
This is me being mild.
Wait, so quick question before we change subjects. Austin, how many council members does it take to get something on the weekly agenda? Like, can they just individually? 4 is what it would take.
4.
Is what it takes. Okay. So they just collectively come together, agree on something, and then I guess give it city secretary or whatever, and then it gets on the agenda.
Yeah, you get the resolution. But resolution drafted by City Legal looks at it, and you go get 3 co-sponsors, and you put it on the agenda.
Gotcha. Okay. Because we're voting on Tuesday, election day, on finally allowing our council members to place something on the agenda. And so I was just curious what number Austin was. We're going with 3, but finally Houston City Council members will be able to place something on the agenda. Hopefully, if it passes.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
If I would have a lot more confidence in the city of Austin if where's she? Where's my finger going to be? Right there. If she, my councilwoman, would respond to emails or phone calls or anything. None of these people do that. They all of their constituents complain about that. If you disagree with any of these people, except for Mackenzie Kelly, she does great. All of them don't give a shit about anybody that disagrees with them. And they're going to ignore your emails, your phone calls. They'll, lie in a public information request. They'll, you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know, you can't voice your opinion. That's why I say let neighborhoods decide, because I can talk to my neighbors a lot easier than I can any of these people. Right?
Yeah.
So
could you put that in? Could you put that in a covenant or some
restraining order? Yeah, I could. Yeah,
Mackenzie Kelly, interestingly, is the only one with an in-district office too. So,
right? Oh, would you fucking look at that? Wow. I don't even think Paige Ellis lives in District 8. Okay, so, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to call you all nerds for trying to be politically active and collect signatures. I might be interested in doing something like that, depending. But
I mean, it is a pretty nerdy thing. Like it's quite all right.
It is very nerdy. So what are we moving on to? The states.
Let's do it.
It's all the state, right? Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. When you're right, you're right.
Which is
so
always.
What is happening up there?
Up there.
Over there.
Over a whole lot of nothing, I guess.
At the Capitol?
Yeah.
Well, Dade Phelan, feeling good, feeling boozy, He on Wednesday he put the House at ease. Is that right? Is that the term? He didn't adjourn. He just put it at ease. And he can do that unilaterally. He doesn't need anybody's permission or anything like that. So he put it at ease on Wednesday, and I guess the special session is officially over on Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yes,
correct.
I think.
So, a lot of people are pissed off, calling him a Democrat. And is he a Democrat? I don't know. Is he a Republican? I don't know. I don't really care what label he is, but he's not very great. It seems he sucks. What is school choice? Are we going to get school choice? Were we ever going to get school choice? Is this something that, look, we know you guys want school choice, parents, people all over Texas. We know you want it, but what are we going to campaign on if we pass it? Is that what this is?
I don't think it's that cynical. Yeah.
They've been campaigning on it for so many cycles.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to the conversation we had. I think it might have been our first show where I think a lot of them genuinely want to see it passed. And then you have that contingent, a small but mighty contingent of rural Republicans who don't want to see it passed for various reasons. And they're able to hold it up. I mean, because you have no Democrats that are going to support it. So they're able to really gum up the works. But I think there are a lot of people who do really want to see it passed, because then they still have other things they can continue to campaign on, like the border, which they campaign on every single year. So I don't know. But I don't think anything's going to happen this special session. We got 3 days.
Well, they did pass. Did they pass the border funding for I know there was a couple senators that were even, I think, a Republican and I think a border Democrat maybe that were like, why are we sending more money to the border? This is not working. Why are we spending more money on this? We're just throwing it. We're lighting it on fire, right? The Biden administration, the feds are saying, come one, come all. And we're just wasting Texans' money.
Yeah. So the school choice, real quick, it's not happening before Tuesday, probably. And you called it on the first show, Brad. This thing is a freaking mess. They're tying teacher pay to it. It's just, I tried to read Brad Johnson's kind of synopsis of it. What a mess. And what it says to me is that House members do not fear Greg Abbott, and they shouldn't probably, because he's not willing, like I said in the first one, he's not willing to really do what's necessary to twist their arms to get it done. And so if I'm gonna guess, which I've been wrong on this show, and this is only our third episode, so get used to it. But if I'm gonna guess, Abbott's gonna come back and give them everything they want, because he only cares about saying he passed school choice, and it's not. I mean, it's for some, but it's not for all, like he said to happen. Yeah. And that what that tells, members for future sessions is Abbott's weak.
And to just overview, because I read Brad's article too. Brad's great with the Texan news. So
I appreciate it.
With the other Brad,
Nope.
The bill that this kind of like omnibus bill that they filed, I think it was Thursday, if I'm going to say it. So it's increasing the per student district allotment to $6,700. So that's something that the districts have been begging for, is to increase the allotment for students. So the districts are winning out on that one. The ESAs, the education savings accounts, would be about $10,500 per student. It also includes teacher salary increases, $4,000 for full-time and $2,000 for part-time. So it's kind of like 2 to 1. Like the districts are getting more of what they want, where the school choice people are getting some of what they want. But yeah, I feel like that's the only way it's probably going to pass out of the House, I guess. I don't know, but
yeah, Greg Abbott, he was for a long time. He's like, these things got to be separate. I'll talk about school funding and teacher pay. No one says how much teachers should be paid, but fine. We'll talk about that. But we're going to separate it all. I'm not going to do it together. Not going to be an omnibus. I want school choice vouchers or whatever separately. And then he caved, right? Wasn't as that's accurate, correct?
Well, yes, because he expanded the call. I think it was on Halloween or something. He expanded the call to include that other stuff. Because initially he said, yeah, next special session will focus on teacher pay, school funding, all that stuff. And then on Halloween, he expanded the call, likely because the House was saying that we need all these things in it to even get it through.
Yeah, he caved. Big cave.
So
Big
he's
cave.
weak.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What is it, Michael? You're better at this stuff than let's say everybody. What does that mean? All right, well, he's weak. He's politically weak, right? He's kind of people support him. People love him. A lot of Republicans in Texas love the guy. They keep reelecting him. He's playing hardball with the border. Like we're gonna put up razor wire. We're gonna put up buoys. We're going to ship these illegals all over the country. You guys deal with them. But on this, he's weak. So is it he's weak on this and he's strong on other things, or he's totally weak? What do we got here? What's your
I would say he's totally weak.
Ooh.
He's always been like this.
I thought we were trying to get him on the show.
We will, and we can ask him these questions. But he's somewhat savvy politically. Like the busing thing, although he tends to always follow other good ideas. He's never like on the forefront of it, like busing migrants. That's why Republicans in Texas love Greg Abbott. He's doing stuff like that, which has been a huge success.
Braddock talks shit about him all the time. He just says, "Look, I'm going to read the Miami Herald to see what Ron DeSantis is doing, so I can know what Greg Abbott's about to do."
Yeah, but in politics, it's a game of exercising leverage, right? How do you, if you have a priority or an agenda, how do you get 76 people in the House of Representatives to vote for it? And he basically said, I'm going to use everything I've got to get this done, including coming after you in an election. You meaning rural Republican that's holding out. And they were like, oh yeah, bring it. A Republican in a small district is not threatened by the political power of Greg Abbott in an election. That should tell you something.
I mean, that could be poor political planning. Possible, right? He could be more powerful than they think he is. Like if he follows through with this threat, we're going to primary you. That hasn't happened yet. And so it could be, and they're just saying, look, I don't think that he's as powerful as he says he is. So fuck this guy. Fuck school choice. We're gonna fuck this shit up. And he can try once.
And I think you do have some examples over the years that they're probably looking to that have proven to not be successful when he does step out. So I mean, in 2018, Susanna Dockapil was challenging Sarah Davis. So I forgot what the issue was that Sarah Davis got out of lockstep with the governor on, and he really, he pumped a lot of support and money into Susanna Dockapil's campaign in a very interesting district in the city of Houston that covers the Texas Medical Center, and she lost. And that was I don't know if that was the first year that he awarded a number of primary challengers to House incumbents, but I know it was one of the bigger years where he really came out. And I know that race was a pretty sad defeat, and I think a couple others were that year. So I think they're looking back at some of those things and seeing how it wasn't as effective in the past, and maybe feel like it's not going to be as effective if he does that same tactic in the future.
So what's his play here? And he follows through on this threat of challenging them in the primary. Is he finding someone better and supporting them? Is he endorsing the other person? Is he not endorsing the incumbent? Is he, directing PAC money? I don't know if that's legal, but you know what I mean? Like, what is he doing? What is his strategy? It's probably different, but for everybody, but what can he do? What's in his deck?
He has a big war chest. He has a big war chest. Yeah. That's his major, and name recognition. I don't know that his endorsement goes a long way, but what he would do is endorse an opponent and send money. Independent expenditure is likely to support that candidate in the district. But Charles's example is he did that before and it didn't work. He didn't defeat the incumbent that he was trying to, the incumbent that he was trying to defeat. And I think a Drew Darby is saying, okay, I can piss off the school district in my district and the superintendents and all the teachers, or I can piss off Greg Abbott. I'll take pissing off Greg Abbott because I think these people here are more of a threat to me than Greg Abbott is.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I guess we're just stuck with it, huh? Nothing's going to change. Do you think it's going to happen next time? I mean, Corey DeAngelis keeps tweeting that it's happening, Texas.
It's something will happen.
Yeah, but when he says it's happening, Texas, I mean, it's like, that's way too broad, and it's not happening like that. When I see something like that, I'm like, people read that and they're going to think, oh, fuck, we're getting like school vouchers. Like, we're going to be able to send our kid wherever we want. And that's not what's happening.
No,
it's not good. Are we ever
some
going to
version
of ever going to get it? Going to get it? Ever going to get it? Going to get it?
I think
some
maybe
version
in the
of
special session, maybe in the 4th, which is interesting though, because Patrick's saying that he wants it to start on February 5th, 2024, a month before the primaries. Presumably senators won't have very difficult primary re-elections, but House members will. But again, it's up to Abbott, of course. So, but it's an interesting. Well, I was going to say it's an interesting time because, right, it ends Tuesday. We're heading very rapidly towards Thanksgiving and then Christmas and so then you got January, and so it's a really weird time to call another special. So if I was him, I'd do it tomorrow.
That's the other thing that's going on here is there's a freaking war in the Republican Party between the speaker and the lieutenant governor, and like all of that is in the backdrop of all of this, which is making it even more messy.
What is the war?
Where do you begin?
Yeah,
I am tangentially aware that there is a war, and I see people talk about it. I don't see a lot of details about it, and I think that there's probably a lot of people like me that are like, yeah, Dade Phelan is a rhino. He's a crypto progressive. He's a drunk, whatever, and he's not good at his job. And we got Ken Paxton, and we got the lieutenant governor, and we got the governor, and they're all sort of like battling behind. And the people with school choice, they're trying to save Texas, and Dade Phelan's a pussy. But what is actually happening?
There's a lot of barbs being exchanged on Twitter, and I also think that in part
strongly worded tweets. No,
there are a lot of strongly worded tweets. But I also think in part we're not seeing any movement on anything in the special session. I think that's a part of it too, is that there's no coordination between the House and the Senate. I mean, we're not seeing the Senate bill never got taken up in the House. I don't think the House bill got taken up in the Senate. Like, there's no movement there. And then there's primary. I mean, you got Paxton supporting primary challengers to House members. And calling for more to come out. So, I mean, I think you got all these other things. I don't know that Abbott's necessarily involved in the war. I think he's kind of just like over here, maybe in the background. I don't know.
He's trying to stay out of it. I mean, that's a complicated question. What is it about? I'll just say that there's been a long-standing battle between different factions in Texas about whether we should keep doing things the way we've been doing or we should make Texas more conservative. And when I say more conservative, I mean the legislature represent that. As an example, why do we have Democrat committee chairs, putting them in a position of power? That's a proxy of this broader war. There's one faction that says, we're a Republican state, why would we give Democrats that much power in the House? And then there's another faction that says, well, this is how we've always done it. I mean, just less than 30 years ago, the House was controlled by Democrats. So it's always been a kind of,
wouldn't they say that we don't want to do that because then when the Democrats take power again, which, I'm sure will happen one day, they wouldn't give Republicans a seat to chair committees or whatever?
Maybe that's a rationale, but I was just using that as that's a proxy. That's one of the fights. There are lots of these fights that are happening. The Ken Paxton thing was a part of this. The elections, there's always part of this.
There's a fight for the soul of Texas.
I wish it were that noble. But no. And all of that's happening, and people have the Paxton fight really forced people to choose a side, and there's a lot of animosity between the sides right now. So that's making this whole thing more convoluted and difficult to figure out a solution. But we'll get some version of school choice that includes a drastic increase in state government spending. which is for this biennium, but also going to eat up the surplus in future bienniums. So it's going to be a mess.
Very conservative. Love it.
Not.
It's great. Love it. They're going to shrink some other part of the government, right, to pay for it?
No.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Well, that's what they did on the national level to send money to, well, it hasn't been passed, but the Senate and Biden have to sign it. But what they did for Israel funding, they defunded the IRS a little bit. So it's possible, maybe.
No,
but that's not our national.
That's all.
Doesn't Mike Johnson look like a marionette? He looks like a little puppet, like not like a puppet, political puppet, but he looks like a marionette. Like he looks like a doll. He's got rosy cheeks. He's always got makeup. He looks fake. He looks like he's animatronic.
Well, we were talking about this before, and I think part of it is about not about him looking animatronic, but why he might not come across as so authentic in some of the stuff. And I think it's because he was like this. I don't want to say lowly, but I just know that I did not know who he was before he became speaker. And he was just this congressman who got kind of thrust into the spotlight. And I think there needs to be some adjustment period for him to get used to kind of all this national attention. But also, I hate the fact that they keep like attacking him over things. Like I saw that he was getting attacked because he doesn't have to disclose his bank accounts and things, because I think all of the money in his accounts, investments accounts, and everything like that is under $5,000, and I think that's the limit. And they're saying that like him and his family live paycheck to paycheck most likely, and that's why he doesn't have to disclose it unless there's something else going on. But I think they were trying to say he lives paycheck to paycheck. So is this really someone we should trust with, overseeing the government, with being fiscally responsible, like all these other things? And is he going to become, susceptible to influence because he lives paycheck to paycheck? Like, it's just crazy. Like,
it's totally unbelievable that he's living paycheck to paycheck, but whatever.
Is it?
Why? Is it?
Why?
Yes.
How much does a congressman make? No.
Enough.
How much does the congressman make?
Paycheck to paycheck.
I think congressmen make $180.
Oh my God, guys! Look, maybe he is living paycheck to paycheck, and he's like a total anomaly. Fine, that's possible.
Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck. I've read something.
Not most Congress people.
But hold up. He could. Okay, it could be a single income family. We don't. How many kids does he have? Do we know?
I think 4 or 5.
Have you? So he's paying a mortgage at home and 4 or 5 kids. He's got 2 cars, maybe 3, and then he's got what? Have you looked at rental prices in DC? Presumably he's not homeless in DC when he's there, so he's got to pay for a second house in DC. I mean, you could eat up $180,000 pretty quickly.
I agree, but he was an attorney before this, and he's a congressman, right? Look, it's not. I'm not saying it's a total lie. I'm just saying there's probably more to the story. My son is at a tennis tournament, and they're calling me trying to figure this out. Can y'all talk about Elon Musk, and I'll be right back?
Yes, but we're gonna finish this conversation first. So go ahead. 4 in 10. No, you could go ahead. Yeah, 4 in 10. I just googled it. 4 in 10 Americans who make over $100,000 or live paycheck to paycheck. I think it's very realistic that he could. And I also read something that said he has a lot of I think student loans or personal loans or something. So I think it's a very realistic thing.
From law school. Yeah. No, we were actually talking about this when we were in DC yesterday. We were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, a lot of these congressmen, they like share. Like, it's so expensive to live there. Like, some of them even share like apartments, right? They rent apartments and share them with other members because it's expensive, and then they're traveling back and forth. And like $180,000 is a good salary, but if you got a family of 6 and you're the only income, and like you said, you got law school, student loan debt, and who else? Yeah. We don't know whether there's medical issues or whatever else there could be there. I would not be surprised. Now, I will say he probably changed his circumstances quite significantly by becoming the Speaker of the House, though.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Because a lot of them also use those campaign accounts to facilitate all their spending. And so that campaign account's probably going to be very fat from now on. So I think his circumstances will change, and he will probably have some reporting moving forward, I would guess.
Yeah. Kevin McCarthy and Nancy Pelosi, our last two speakers of the House, are not living paycheck to paycheck. We'll just say that. We'll just say that. We could get into Musk. I think I tweeted about Mike Johnson. I think doing the, returning to regular order, making Israel, untying Israel and Ukraine aid, those are good steps. I wish he'd stay away from the social stuff so much. I think it just hurts. The social stuff just hurts conservatives in the end, and they don't get anything done. So I don't know why there's this constant focus on it. But I think, in the speaker fight, everybody else, you see Matt Gaetz sent out that apology letter and was like,
no, I didn't see that.
It was like, he did like this meme tweet. It was like a form that was like, I apologize to Matt Gaetz, and you check the reason why, and then you signed your name at the bottom. So I think Matt Gaetz won that little fight with McCarthy and the people who were mad that he was trying to take him out.
As frustrated as people are with him, he has proven himself to be a very effective person at getting what he wants done. I mean, it's, he's proven to be very effective, probably more effective than most Congress people have been in a couple of years. So,
and
all right,
we're gonna move on to Musk. Tell me what Elon Musk's big plans for Twitter are.
Well, we have video for that, so let's listen to him. He'll tell you from his own mouth.
He has sort of made it, maximally trusted and inclusive, and at a point at which you sort of have a high trust situation, then payments, whether it's crypto or fiat, can make a lot of sense. We just want something that's incredibly useful and that people love using.
So pretty much what he's explaining is what he wants to do with X. He's kind of modeling it after WeChat. If you guys know what WeChat is, or if you don't know what WeChat is, it's
Chinese WeChat.
Chinese WeChat. But a lot of I think about 1.5 million Chinese people living in America also use it. And so it pretty much just encompasses everything. So it's like a social media app. It's a banking system. It is like pretty much like Zelle or something like that put in there. They have QR codes for health issues. There's just like everything you could possibly imagine all in this one app. But at the same time, if you do something that, like they said that there was an issue with Beijing or something, and people were sending photos and planning protests, and so they banned the word Beijing on WeChat. Anybody who tweeted it or WeChatted it got banned from the platform, and so essentially, like, you were removed from life because everything was tied into this app. Now, Elon's version wouldn't be government; it would be private, I guess, for the most part. But essentially, he wants to have it an all-encompassing app.
On WeChat, I think, I don't know this for sure, but this is what I've heard. When you tweet, is it called a WeChat? I think it's called a wee. They wee.
You go with that.
Let me wee this real quick. So yeah, I mean, I think he said he also wants to turn it into a dating app, which it probably already is.
Yeah, probably. Oh, and phone calls too. I mean, have you guys gotten that lately where you go on Twitter and it prompts you to like set up a phone and video call? Like, have you guys gotten that?
I do all my phone calls through Twitter.
Well, I don't, but I might start soon. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be like everything.
I think it's interesting. I mean, I think X is a stupid name, but what do I know? I didn't start Starlink or Tesla, so maybe I'm in the wrong here. But I think X is kind of a dumb name.
Yeah, I don't know what his obsession with X is. I did read that during the .com boom, he had a bank called an online bank called X.com, and then I guess he either sold it to PayPal or got rid of it or something. And so a lot of the companies now are modeled after. I don't know if that was the initiating point or what, but for some reason he has an affinity for X.
So when they say an app for everything, I mean, okay, you're going to be able to send people money on it. You're going to be able to swipe right or left.
Hell yeah.
You're like, okay, what else? You're going to be able to make phone calls and video calls.
Also posting on social media, debit cards, checks, loan services.
There's encrypted messages as well.
Encrypted messages. everything.
I'm sure there's going to be an AI component. He just did that talk with. He was at the AI symposium with. Is it the UK's Prime Minister? I think it was the UK's Prime Minister talking about AI and the dangers of AI and all this other stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be there's XAI, right? They have a Twitter account and they're about to roll something out because from all the Biden administration just did an executive order about AI and they need to control it because there's too much misinformation. So I don't know, is Elon's going to be better? I guess, right? It's going to be all over the place. I'm going to use the AI to just do all my tweets. Everyone's going to use AI for all their tweets, and everyone's going to think that no one's going to know who's really tweeting or not. It's just going to be an automated tweet system.
That's no fun.
I mean, it's kind of like in a meta sort of way, it's like a simulation if that happens, right? Everyone just has their avatar online on autopilot doing AI stuff, trading money, buying Doge, selling Doge, calling, doing all this different stuff. And it's the it's the simulation.
Yeah.
Here's my conspiracy theory thing. And I think, and also on this app.
Charles, you're into conspiracy theories now? Oh, yeah.
Also on this app, they want you to be able to order products, buy flights, all this kind of stuff. But I feel like all of this is just a shift to try to get people to like stop interacting with each other. Because even with like the meta, what was it? The virtual reality glasses where you put them on and you sit in your house all day and you talk to people through it. I feel like all of this is just an attempt to get people to stop interacting with each other in person and just kind of be in this virtual world all the time. And largely because home prices are expensive because people like Brad or NIMBYs and you can't afford homes places. So you can buy property in the virtual realm and just stay there. Like, I feel like all of this is just, you're in a pod and you're going to be like in the internet all the time.
But why?
Yeah. I was going to ask, is this a nefarious thing or is this just because like that's going to make them a bunch of money?
I think they think that like, I don't know, reducing human interaction like produces better productivity or something like or like we're more subdued when we don't have human interaction. We could be controlled or something. I don't know who's all running it, but it's just strange to me how every new technology is geared towards you not really interacting with other people in person or face to face or anything, and more kind of making you further and further removed from those in-person interactions.
Charles, is the Rothschild family running it?
Oh gosh.
Uh-oh.
He went there.
Uh-oh.
He went there. I did not.
Yeah. No, I mean, I see the same trend. I don't know if it's profit motive or some dark room where, people are conspiring, because I can't see the end game, but that's why I'm a plebe and not one of those guys in the dark room. But it started with social media, like, or these phones here. And now I'm just buried in my phone and not interacting with people. And now the next phase is I cannot imagine myself ever buying virtual reality and being like, I'm going to buy a house in virtual reality. Like I'm always a late adopter. So on tech. So I just couldn't see myself ever doing that. What about you guys?
Never. NFTs make no sense. That's stupid. I'm not going to buy a house. I mean, unless it's like I can see myself doing it like in a video game, like, an add-on type thing. Maybe. I mean, I've played virtual reality video games and they're crazy. But the idea that I'm going to like create this social avatar where I, build an island. What was that game where people would build islands and shit like that? And like
SimCity?
No, it's like SimCity, but it's more intense.
Epstein.
It's called Epstein.
Epstein Island.
Yep. No age restrictions on that game.
But we aren't the target, though, because this is for a younger generation, right?
So hear this. I don't know about the younger generation, because hear this. So I just Googled this. In January 2022, the average metaverse property cost was over 5 Ethereum or $18,000.
Fuck you. No.
Towards August 2022, prices have begun to dip to around the average of $5,100 on Decentraland and $2,800 on Sandbox. So I don't even think like who has money to put $5,000 into online, like not a young person, I would think.
The young person's parents. But isn't that interesting that the average house costs 5 Ethereum, right? In this metaverse, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Metaverse. I wonder how much space is in the metaverse. Like, don't you think they just could have built their own house, right? Something smaller, something that they could afford, maybe. Yet it still got so expensive.
Maybe they will build 3 houses on their lot.
Weird how that happened. Weird.
If they build 3 houses on that lot, Brad's gonna pop up in the metaverse to just like a sledgehammer tear.
I'm gonna use the internet kill switch if that happens.
No parking either.
Yeah,
these people, animals,
absolute animals.
I'm not spending my Ethereum on virtual property.
But it is interesting because they do, and since we talked about Grimes the last one, she did. I don't know if she did it yet or was going to do
it. Show yet? No, come on, Charles.
I saw that she was doing a concert in the metaverse, and the artists are now starting to do concerts in the metaverse as well and charge for things. Like it's I can't wrap my mind around it yet because I haven't been in the metaverse. So maybe if I go in there, like I'll get it. But
I can see that.
I like the idea of virtual reality, and like maybe we could do this show in virtual reality one day where we have our avatars. You know, I don't know what my avatar is. You know, maybe it's a pretty lady. Who knows? And a pretty Asian lady. I think I'll just live in the dream. Really, a waifu. I brought up waifu on the show before, and y'all still don't know what it is, do you?
I didn't Google it.
I didn't either.
Anyhow, and that sounds kind of cool in a way. I don't know if it would just be like a niche experience where, yeah, we did it and that's fine, or if it would be like kind of cool. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure we'll do it one day. BCM virtual.
So is in this metaverse, using your example, Charles, could you go to a rave and then like put on a filter that's like, I want to go to a rave on this drug, and then it like recreates the experience for you? I don't know.
I mean, if they have not thought of it, you might want to coin that because they probably will do that and can do that.
Virtual drugs.
I was laughing because I was just looking at the website that I had pulled up, and it's like a realtor for the metaverse. And so one of the questions was, is metaverse property a good investment? And they're like, it's a terrific investment. Like, you can just definitely put your money into it.
Oh my God. Well, we're like, a little over an hour here. Are we done talking about Elon and his master?
I think so. I mean, yeah, ultimately he's got this master plan, and I think we're going to all end up on there, but it's also going to be easy to make us digital nobodies when they want.
Quick question on Elon though, for you two, and it could be a 1-word answer. Is he malevolent?
I mean, I guess that could be pretty broad. People's definition of malevolent might be different, but I'm not going to try to complicate it. I don't think he's malevolent. No.
I don't think so. I think he's one of those people who's kind of yearning to kind of push the world forward. And I don't know if we had the conversation on this show or somewhere else, but it's like those scientists who do things like, I want to clone this, I want to clone that, I want to, take this virus and do this with it. They don't have like bad intentions. They're just like nerds who really want to make this stuff work. And then the people then can take that and use that for bad. And so I feel like he's kind of in that nerd realm of like, I want to do this really cool stuff because I can. And then there are going to be people who take advantage of that to do bad things.
I buy that.
He said 1-word answer, Charles.
No, that was great. Yeah.
What do you think? Give us your answer.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Michael. Yeah, Michael.
I don't know.
Michael.
I don't know.
That's not an answer.
It's an answer.
No, it's not.
people
so people will say that he's a capitalist and he's just trying to make a bunch of money, and that's malevolent. That's not good, right? So people's definitions might be different. So in your mind,
I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad.
But what is so do you think it's malevolent, or is he trying to save free speech?
If I had to put money on it, I would give him the benefit of the doubt at this point in time.
Do I look cool with a hat like this?
Very.
And that's how the kids do it?
Very.
All right, guys. Y'all want to sign off? Tell people how they can find you, stuff like that. Where did we figure out where the subscribe button is? Is it there?
Yeah.
There.
Yes.
There.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So subscribe right there. Hit that subscribe button. Get notifications on. Tell your friends. Charles, where can they find you?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Where is it? CJ Blain 10 right there. Yep. There you go.
It's on the screen. You can find me on Twitter. I'm Searle ATX.
Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays is when we get the good tweets.
Yeah, the good tweets are Tuesdays. Woolly mammoths. In ancient Egypt.
It's true. He does do that.
Speaking of, I know this isn't a topic. Gunung Penang, I don't know how to say it, in Indonesia. Check it out. They're dating. There's a hill, and underneath it is a pyramid. And the dates they're pulling out of the ground are the oldest by far of any pyramids.
Are they pulling them out of the ground, or are they pulling them out of their ass?
Out of the ground. 20,000 years old.
What?
I think that was on Graham Hancock's Netflix show.
First episode. Yeah.
There you go. So someone found a new Netflix show this past week.
Gunung Padang.
Yes, I will. The article is scheduled to tweet on Tuesday. You know how I tweet. So,
well, of course, you can find me on X at Brad Swail. I'm also in the metaverse. I'm the anime girl with the largest chest possible. So I'll be there. You can find me. You got to pay to touch, though. So, all right, guys, that was a great show.
All right, see ya.
See y'all later.
Until next time.